A game that learns by its past mistakes. How? By now you've probably heard of artificial intelligence, and if you haven't, that's okay, because I'll explain it briefly in a little bit. Before I go any further, I want to say that I have my own Discord server. It's on the screen right now, but if you're too lazy to type it, which is me, then go to the description. It'll be the first link there. I announce my videos there ahead of time and update you on any progress. I also might host another subscriber-based video or a free shoutout, who knows. Also, if you like my past videos, like this one because you already know it's gonna be good. Anyway, let's start with the basics of AI. I'm not going to go too deep into this topic because I don't have much time in this industry. I haven't even gotten an AP or college degree learning from artificial intelligence, but I've seen enough Jabri and code bullet videos to know how it works and how to program it. If you'd like to learn about this topic from professionals, then this isn't the video for you. I'll link all the sources in the description if you're interested. There are multiple subsets of AI. We're going to do AI, of course. I would love to do deep learning and machine learning, but I just don't have the resources or experience. The graph says sense and of depth, but how? Basically, in shortening terms, artificial intelligence is like evolution. For example, every so-called generation, let's say there are 100 birds. Some birds have higher fitness scores or strength or their ability to catch food. And each of their abilities are random. Let's say strength is a number between 0 and 0.5, and ability to catch food is also 0 to 0.5. Ranging on how well they did, for example, a bird with 0.3 strength and 0.4 food would place higher than the other ones with lower scores. And let's say there's a big bad bear. Yes, a bear. Bears eat birds. Didn't know that before making this video. Let's say they ate the lower 50% of the fitness score birds, and the top 50% made one baby. For the simplicity of things, we are going to make the survivors immortal. The next 50% would have an overall higher fitness score, therefore the effect of learning occurs. This is called unsupervised learning, where it doesn't take pre-entered values but tries randomly until it learns. For this experiment, we do not want supervised learning. The AI would probably learn too fast and make it level impossible within 10 generations, depending on what data we put in. Next, we need to talk about neural networks. In neural networks, the beginning inputs are called visible input layers. In the example before are all 1 for 11. Then there are hidden layers. Hidden layers are what goes into the function and how it ends up in the output. In the example before, the first hidden layer is strength, and the second is the ability to catch food. Depending on the results, the outputs would range from 0 to 1, 0 being dead and 1 being alive and able to reproduce. Then the next time we would repeat the process, it would be generation 2. Everything would keep happening until the system learns. More complicated and much better neural networks include image recognition, which is basically taking every single pixel of an image and making it into a fitness score. Based on how large an image can be, take this into perspective. A 1920 x 1080 standard HD photo has 2,073,600 pixels. That means 2 million input values are considered. And guess what? The game I'm making only has 10 input values and 3 layers, much less computing power than HD photo. Now that you have the basics and some interesting facts, it's time to implement it into a game. That was a very over-exaggerated basic of AI. I couldn't dive too deep, sorry. Here's the idea. There's only one level, and the only thing that changes is what kills the player, which is the block. There are 100 tiles between the player and the endpoint. There are 10 blocks randomly placed between the end and the cube. Basically, a player can only control whether to move left or right. The player cannot control the movement forward. This adds some ease to the AI as it can calculate less with more accuracy. The first dimension that we must consider in order to make a good enough AI is how many blocks a player touches. The player gets 3 lives, so the ones it touches are automatically going to reproduce because 3 is less than 5 and 5 is 1/2 of 10, and the cutoff is 5 because it's 1/2 of 10, if that makes sense. The next hidden layer is if it spawns next to another block. The radius for that is 4 tiles, So if anything spawns between 4 tiles near it, then it will calculate it into the fitness as well. If there's somehow no tiles that are near each other, there would only be 3, right? Yes, true, but for the next 2, it would be what remains, and it will reproduce 2 copies. The last tiebreaker, or the hidden layer, is the amount of time a player spends on the block. The player is only damaged when it enters the block, not when it's on it. So if the amount of time is larger on the block, then of course the block is stronger and has a higher fitness score than the other blocks. And lastly, the output. Half of the output would be 0 and half of them would be 1. That's how the network works. That's the network. But how does it store our data? Like, how long, which is time, if it touches, and if there's anything near the tiles? Well, there's a quite simple answer, but it's really hard to implement. Arrays. Arrays for non-coders are a list to store data in it. It's that simple. After a lot of work and bugs fixing, it finally works. Never mind. After many bug fixes, it finally works, and the core mechanics are finally done. Now it's time to add the levels. Wait, didn't I say there was only 1 level? Yeah, I did, but each level the block grows in 1 size, so instead of being 1 by 1 by 1, it would be 2 by 1 by 1. For a very slick menu and forgetting to put the title, here is the final gameplay. As you could see, at level 9, it's basically impossible. There's only 1 square to move, and if it spawns right next to one, then it's practically impossible. What ends up happening to the system is batch spawning. The block realizes that it has a better chance of blocking the player if they're all clumped together. This is like real life because animals, especially the lower ones on the food chain, are more likely to go in with packs. Quite interesting when you simulate it. Maybe in the future I can add some cool race to the finish, AI versus human. I don't know, I just find it fascinating. If this video gets 25 likes, then I'll post the source code and the project for you guys. And if this video gets 30 likes, then I'll make a sequel. Overall, this project was very fun. Although it took me a day to make, I learned a lot from it. If you guys really want to see me fail with machine learning, then so be it. I hope you guys subscribe, like, and join my Discord server. I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to have a happy new year. Stay safe. Reach for the stars, tell my girl I'm leaving town, but this is everything that I ever wanted. Loco, I've been acting crazy. Ask me how I'm doing, I'ma tell you I'm amazing. I ain't with the snakes talking about me, doesn't faze me. And if this and if this video gets 30 likes, then I'll And if this video gets 30 likes, then I'll make a sequel. I just wanna tell her to leave me alone. When I'm off the drugs, that's when I'm in the zone. That's when I'm gone. Thinking out loud, I've been smoking loud. Cups in the air while I sing for the crowd. Reach for the stars, tell my girl I'm leaving town, but this is everything.